This video will help you install your thermostat if you do not have a wire labeled C, but you do have an extra wire in the wire bundle at your wall. Know that the extra wire might be wrapped around the bundle and tucked inside your wall. Before you label and disconnect the wires at your old thermostat, you need to identify your current wires and system type. When looking at your wires, you may see the following situations. You may have a heat pump system that has different lettered terminals. If you have wires connected to the O or B terminals, you may have a heat pump system, and it will be helpful to refer to the wiring section of your user guide. You may notice a wire that looks like this, known as a jumper wire. If you have a jumper wire, take note of which terminals it is connecting. Often, jumper wires will need to be transferred to your new thermostat for proper function. However, your Wi-Fi thermostat comes with a jumper wire connecting the R and RC terminals, which should be kept unless you have both R and RC wires. If you have both of these wires, you can remove the jumper wire from the new thermostat. Next, use the supplied sticky tags to label each wire according to the letter on the terminal in which it is inserted. Do not label the wires based on their color, because wire color does not necessarily indicate the wire's function. Label the extra wire with the C sticky tag. After labeling your wires, use a screwdriver to loosen the terminals and pull the wires out. Now you can remove the wall plate of your old thermostat. When removing it, take care to ensure none of the wire labels fall off and that none of the wires fall through the wall opening. Here's a helpful hint. You might want to wrap the wires around a pencil to prevent them from falling back through the wall after you remove your old wall plate. Mount and connect the new thermostat. Now it is time to begin installing your new thermostat. First, separate the Wi-Fi thermostat from its wall plate. You'll want to set the thermostat aside and begin mounting the wall plate. Position it so the wire hole is centered and pull the wires through the hole. Now is a good time to verify it is level. Using a pencil, mark the positions of both screw holes on the wall. If you don't already have holes in the areas you marked, you'll want to make pilot holes for the screws and anchors. If you are mounting the thermostat on drywall or plaster, use the drill bit indicated in your user guide. Once you have pilot holes, use a hammer to tap the anchors into the pilot holes. After inserting the anchors, it's time to attach the wall plate. Position the wall plate so its holes are over the anchors and insert the screws. You can use a screwdriver or drill to tighten the screws. If you want, you can also level the wall plate again before tightening up the screws. Okay, now before you connect the wires, take note of the color of the extra wire you labeled C. Next, go to your heating and cooling system's terminal block to look for the same color wire. The terminal block is located in your heating and cooling system. Not all terminal blocks will look the same, but they should have the same letter designations for the thermostat connections. At the terminal block, find the wire bundle with the same color wires as you have at your thermostat. Within the wire bundle, locate the wire that is the same color as the extra wire you have at your thermostat, and ensure it is not connected. Then connect that wire to the C terminal on your terminal block. When you are done, make sure you put the heating and cooling system door back on properly so that the interlock switch allows the power to be turned on for the system and thermostat display. Now, go back to your thermostat and insert the extra wire you labeled C into the C terminal on your wall plate. This will provide the required power from your heating and cooling system to your thermostat. At this time, also connect all the other labeled wires to their designated letter terminals on your wall plate. You will see that your new Wi-Fi thermostat has a jumper wire connecting the R and RC terminals. Keep this wire in place unless you have both R and RC wires. If you have both wires, remove the jumper wire and insert the wires into their respective terminals. If you determined earlier that you have a heat pump system, match the labels on the wires to the letters indicated on the bottom of the terminals, then tighten the screws. Note that you still insert the wires into the terminals located on the top of the terminal block. Refer to the wiring section of your user guide or visit wifithermostat.com/help and support if you need assistance with wiring. After you finish connecting all the wires, push any excess wire back into the wall opening. Now, fold and insert the quick reference guide into the slot on the back of the thermostat. Attach the thermostat to the wall plate by lining up the pins and snapping it into place. Switch the power back on for your heating and cooling system at the circuit breaker box or the system switch. This should power up your thermostat's display, which will prompt you to set the date and time on the thermostat. Setting up the thermostat functions. Now that you have successfully installed the thermostat, set the date and time. Next, it is important that you set your heating and cooling system type so that your thermostat operates properly and does not damage your system while it is running. This thermostat is preset for a traditional single-stage heating and cooling system. If you have a heat pump, hydronic, or multi-stage system, you must change the system type by setting different options under function number 1. If you don't know your heating and cooling system type, watch the Identify Your System Type video on wifithermostat.com/installation videos. To change your system type, press the fan and up buttons simultaneously for approximately 3 seconds. The screen will change to display 2 numbers, and the button designations will change to Done, Back, and Next. The number 1 should display on the left side of the screen, and the number 0 should display on the right side of the screen. To set your heating and cooling system type to something other than a traditional single-stage forced air system, which is signified by the number 0, refer to the System Setup section of your user guide and use the up and down arrows to set the numbers on the right to the corresponding system type referred to in your user guide. When you've finished making changes, press Done to save and exit. Congratulations! You are now ready to start enrolling your thermostat with your home's Wi-Fi network. For assistance with this process, watch the Connect video on wifithermostat.com.